Indie Case Files is a production of Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkgeekstudios.com. To help support Indie Case Files and Inked Geek Studios, go to patreon.com/igstudios. As little as $1 a month can help this show and other great content. Thank you very much. Even in the corporate world of AAA video game development, some developers wish to keep the love and passion for gaming alive. What follows is a sea of games designed and published by small studio developers. Some bad, some good. We'll help you decide. This is Indie Case Files, and these are their games.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 7. Sure, why not? Of Indie Case Files. I am your host, Amy Frost, and I'm here with the incomparable Nate Ward. Nate, it's been a while, buddy.
I thought you were going to say the incompetent. Because we haven't done a show in 4 months. It has been a while. It has been a lot of shit. It has been some conventions, some health issues, scheduling issues. My work schedule changed. It's been a whole bunch of shit.
It's been a lot.
It has.
But we're back.
We are back, and we're back on track. The studio came back fully starting Saturday, and things are in full gear. So
yeah,
things are good. I think this was supposed to be an off week, but fuck it. We're back, and we're back to the bi-weekly thing. We just reset the weeks. It's
sure.
Okay.
They don't know.
They don't.
They don't
Other than that, I just told them.
Yeah. Well, that seems like a you problem. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. It's tomorrow's my Friday, so I'm slowly creeping into my weekend. And yeah, I mean, weather's
I usually run screaming into my weekend, but
weather's warming up here in the deep north.
that is accurate.
But yeah, no, weather's warming up. And so I've been enjoying it. It's tank top season again, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So obviously we should talk about ways to stay inside.
We should. We should indeed. Because it works out well.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm all right. Living the dream. You know, same stuff, different day. Like literally no different than the last time we did a show. So
4 months has changed, but Amy has not.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm consistent.
Well, that's more than I can say.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. So go ahead.
Our games are oddly similar this week.
They
in spite of having done 2 separate games.
Yeah, they are indeed. So anyone that follows any of the social media, I mean, you if you follow the social media or if you follow the newsletter or subscribe to the newsletter, you know, we've been trying to get back on track the last several weeks, and it's one thing after another, like we mentioned. But so originally it was going to be Mini Metro and Transport Fever. But Transport Fever, it's a good game, and I'm sure I'll cover it at some point. But it's not. I didn't have time to delve back into it because it's a very deep game. I have not played it in a while, so I wanted something that was in the same vein, or at least with the same thematic structure, but something that I could kind of tackle over the weekend, have a lot of fun with. So yeah, I stumbled across Train Valley, and then I found that Train Valley 2 is in early access, so I went with that one.
Yep.
And based off of the time that I spent with your game, they are very similar. They're both puzzlers as opposed to simulators. And it's just, you know, one is more like, you know, metro transportation, and one is more like transporting goods to places. Yeah. But I bet yours doesn't have a DeLorean.
Mine does not have a DeLorean at all. Wow. All right. I'm going to start this.
All right, go ahead.
So I played Mini Metro, which is the strategy simulation game about designing a subway map for a growing city. You draw lines between stations and start your trains running, keep them running efficiently. So It starts off with a handful of cities unlocked, and these are real cities. And what you have to do is basically stops appear, and there are different shapes. And at these stops, little people show up, and they are the same shape as the stop that they are trying to go to. So it's very minimalist looking, and there is a mobile version of this game. And so your goal is to keep everything running smoothly. There's a few different modes. The normal mode, which is mostly what I play, there comes a point at which a station will become full. So if you have all of your passengers are backed up too far, that's when basically it ends. You lose. And your goal is to get as far as you can. So it starts out pretty easy, and you'll have like maybe 3 stops, and so you just kind of connect them. And as it progresses, it very gradually, to the point where you almost don't really notice it, it gradually zooms out and more stops appear. Which adds, it gets super complex. A lot of cities, like Montreal, for example, that has, it's basically an island, so you have to worry about bridges and tunnels because there's only a certain number of cuts you can have under the water. And it gets kind of crazy. And then you unlock more levels by beating a certain score on the previous ones and things like that. The other cool thing I really like about it is that all of the music is procedurally generated. So as more stops are added, depending on their shape, it like adds to the music in a certain way. It's very zen and chill, but also stressful because there's like people and they're all like upset that they can't get where they need to go. But like the music's very calm.
Right.
I got most of the way through.
I enjoyed it. Now, were you playing it on mobile or PC?
PC.
Okay.
I did have it. Do I have it on mobile? No, I didn't bother because I thought phone would be a little small, and I didn't feel like playing on my tablet. But
Right.
yeah, no, I've been playing on PC, which is great.
So it's definitely it's a fun time killer on mobile. I enjoy it. I have a couple games that I play on mobile that are like the live based games where you have so many lives, and then you lose them all, and you have to pay or like wait 18 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have a couple of those that I play consistently, and then I have a couple other games that aren't life based, and Metro is one of them. And it's great. It's a great time killer for when like I have time to sit on my phone, which happens a lot at work.
Yeah.
And like I'm out of lives in all the other games. I found myself with Mini Metro challenging myself. Like I would pick a map. Like it was fun, like you mentioned, like the method of unlocking like city after city. But I would find myself be like, all right, let's see how far I can get just doing one track. And I would like zigzag it around to make sure that like I never, if possible, like I never did 2 circles in a row. I never did 2 X's in a row or a square, like things like that. That way things would consistently drop off.
Yep.
And I found that was pretty fun. And I like that the game is open enough to where like you can add little mini challenges because each city is endless to a point. It runs until until a city gets over.
Yeah.
Until a station gets overloaded.
There's another mode that's endless mode where the stops can't become too overcrowded, but you have to build for efficiency. And then there's the extreme mode where once you lay a track, you cannot move it.
Saw that. Yeah, that sounds
and that's
crazy.
Intense.
I bet.
The other cool thing, which I think they do it on mobile too, is they have the daily challenges.
Yep.
Where it's a city in a mode, and you get one shot, and that's your score for the day. I did today's. It was Paris on normal, and I'm in the bottom 35%. Feeling good. I thought it was going fairly well. Right up until I decided to revamp the entire Parisian underground system, and it didn't go particularly well. It's fine.
Right. It's a fun game. It's nice to have I like the puzzle aspect, and I think that having the little, because I was playing Metro, again, because we had been talking about that particular game for a couple months now to do on the show. So I downloaded it and I played it. And it was a lot of fun, and I think that the tactics that I picked up on a base level from Metro kind of helped with Train Valley. So
Yeah.
Train Valley is a PC only. Well, it's a computer only game. It's PC and Mac. Again, I'm playing Train Valley 2, which you can get in early access right now. It's available on Steam. It's $10, and I'll say right off the bat, I highly recommend picking it up. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's very comical in nature. There's more of a graphical user interface than like a Mini Metro, whereas Mini Metro's lines and dots. Like
Right.
Train Valley has visuals, and
Mhm.
it looks cool. It almost looks. I don't know. It's got one of those. It's almost got like that creative mobile game look to it. Something like a. I don't know, where they try and have a lot of fun with the colors. Like they're realistic colors, but there's really fun shading.
Yep.
And they have a lot of fun with it. So you start off. So unlike a simulator like a Transport Fever or something like that, where you have a company and you start off with a certain amount of capital and you're building and you're trying to grow a company.
Uh-huh.
Train Valley is you pick a level and you don't name a company, you don't pick a color scheme, nothing like that. Like you pick your level, and then so the first level you start off and you need to deliver. I think it was like you have to deliver, was it dirt and bricks in the first level? I don't know. But anyway, so your towns, which as you get further up, there'll be multiple towns. But
Yep.
for the base description, your town generates workers. You then build train tracks from your town to the different factories, whether you have, or mines, whether you have like a gravel mine, or you have maybe a farm that produces wheat or anything like that. So then you send the workers there, and then those workers will produce your base resources. And then you will set up the train track to go from that production facility, whatever it may be, to a more advanced factory that perhaps, like, let's say with cattle. Well, then you have to get workers from your main city to the cattle farm, and then you have to get grain from the wheat farm to the cattle farm to get cattle, and then you bring that cattle back to, the town or whatever town needs it.
Right.
The way that puzzle aspect comes into play is you only have, similar to Mini Metro, you only have so many trains available on the track at once. Now you can pay to add more, you can pay to upgrade, but there are no switches like there's track switches in that you pick what direction they go, but there are no like stoplights. There are no wait for that train. Like you can get as many trains as you want going at once, but if you crash them, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So you can click on a train and stop it. So you can be a manual switch, but you have to make sure you're paying attention to everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you have a slower train, and I did that, I think you were in my stream the other night when I was playing it. And I think it was 2 or 3 times in a row, I had a slower train get outrun by a faster train, and they would just collide into each other because there is no AI in the trains. You tell it to go, it's going to go. And it expects that you know what you're doing. So
that was its first mistake.
Right, exactly. So each level has a star rating. You start off with like the olden trains where it's like coal trains, then you upgrade, and then you end up getting to the industrial era. Again, it's early access. Right now there are 20 levels. From what I can tell, the first 10 are kind of like the classic era, and then the second 10 are the industrial era. And each one has star ratings. And the star ratings, so your first 3 stars out of 5 are based off of time. So essentially what's going to happen here, and we'll use the main town and then the 2 industrial facilities as the example. You'll have your main town, you'll have your grain, you'll have your cows. Your main town will tell you, look, your objectives are, we want 8 grain and we want 6 cows. So you have to get workers to the farm for the grain, get that grain back to the main capital, and then, as I said before, grain to cows to get cows back to the town or capital, whatever. Right. So your first 3 stars are based off of how fast you do that. So like most other games that have star ratings or best of 10 ratings or whatever, like time is a factor. So you have to do it in so much time. And those are your first 3. Then you get 2 challenges to get a 5-star. And those challenges can vary. And they vary based off of the map's design. So they
Yep.
make the challenges so that particular challenge would be difficult for that map. One of them is like, no train accidents. So if it's a map where there's like 8 or 9 different factories and you're zigzagging all the way around,
Right.
no train accidents might be your 4th or 5th star. And then another one would be like only build 45 tracks. So you have to multi-use tracks. And that one gets combined a lot with the no accidents, because if you have to keep your tracks down, you're obviously
Right.
multi-using a
Have
lot
more
of
tracks.
tracks. So
Yeah.
they want to make sure you're multitasking. Don't destroy things over a certain over a certain total cumulative value. So
Right.
if you destroy a tree, it might be, $100. So if you destroy it, like if your value can't go over $1,000, don't destroy 10 trees. So you
Right.
have to complete the objective without destroying X amount of things. And that could mean placing track and then destroying it. That could mean
Right.
taking
Right.
down trees. That could mean terraforming some land by building on like a too steep of a cliff. And you have to keep those costs down. And it's a lot of fun because the stars are challenging. And I've already found myself, without even completing all 20 of the early access levels, I have found myself wanting to go back and get 5 stars on the
Right.
maps because it's a lot of fun. And racing, I like race the clock games. I know not like people aren't a big fan sometimes.
Yeah.
But I find that for my preferences, when it comes, I mean, you have 2 options to make a game level harder. You add a timer, or
Yeah.
you increase the difficulty.
Right.
A game like this, there really is no increasing the difficulty
Right.
for that level because everything is static, with
Right.
the exception of your tracks. But I like time limits because for certain games, like I don't like it when you increase difficulties and if it's like a shooting game, things become bullet sponges, things like that. Like I would rather you time me so you can gauge my efficiency by how well I do things,
Right.
as opposed to just being like, how long can you deal with this shit? But I really like it. And for an early access game, it plays really well. It's really fun looking. There is an
Yep.
edit mode that is currently not enabled.
Right.
As the only thing I would say is I blew through those 10 levels pretty quick.
Right.
All right, I think I did 9. As I said, you can go back and redo them to get your 5 stars if you're that type of person. I don't see the 20 levels taking overly long.
Right.
I expect them to add more. I don't know what features are in Train Valley 1. I've never touched it.
Mhm.
I would like to see this game have a sandbox mode. So it
Right.
is a little bit more like a simulator.
Mhm.
Because you are very much, you build your tracks, you upgrade your trains, you complete your objective, you go to the next level, you start over again. Almost
Right.
like in an RTS type sense where like you build up this huge base and then you go to the next level and you're just back to a central hub.
Yeah.
Like, so I would like to see those added. I haven't done too much research into the game beyond what I've played and
Right.
like the developer and stuff. So I don't know what they plan for the future, but
Yeah, it seems like something that would really lend itself to, like, because of Steam. If there's an editor, you're like, here's my level. Good luck, bitches.
and that would be cool. Kind of like a Mario Maker thing.
Right, exactly.
That would be awesome. I didn't even think of that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, here's your level. Here are your objectives. These are here's your time limits.
Good
And
luck.
or maybe like the game has a built-in thing where it looks at the size of your map and what your objectives are and gives you time limits.
Right.
and then,
Because
like-
otherwise people would just make it
Yeah.
stupid.
And then you could you could set the other 2 stars based off of whatever you want to do.
Right.
But no, it's a lot of fun. It's fairly new. It came out March 29th, so it's not even 2 months old.
Yeah.
And it's developed and published by Flazm. I think I'm saying that right.
Flazm.
Flazm. And a shout out to the dev because he has retweeted all of our stuff for this episode. So very much appreciate that when developers do that. But it's described as a puzzle / strategy / train simulator. Again, a little light on the train simulator. Like it fits in that genre, but it's not. If you're looking for like a tycoon game, this is not the game you're looking for.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. And for $10, I mean, you can blow $10 like that these days. So for a $10
Right.
title. And the only other thing I have to say is if you have an ultra wide monitor, it supports ultra wide, which is awesome.
That is
Because
awesome.
and I even said this on stream, like I love that like a little indie developer who has an early access game supports ultra wide, but Bethesda still can't.
Yeah.
So you know what? Props to them. And it makes me happy when things natively support ultra wide because that's what I game on PC.
Right. Right. I think I told you. I think we were talking about it, and I told you that that's because indie developers are gamer nerds way more than like the big developers are. So they want
Right.
ultra wide because that's what they sit and game
Right.
on.
Right. No, it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. It
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I know. We picked like pretty simple games here.
We did. And that's fine. I mean, they were a lot
Yeah.
of fun. I would so as far as Metro,
Yeah.
it's
It's got really good replayability
it does. It certainly does.
because it's all generated on the fly.
and maybe you aren't wrong, and maybe my biggest contention with it is what you had mentioned about the phone screen being too small. I mean, I'm playing it on an
Yeah.
iPhone 10, so it's not like it's the smallest phone screen.
Right, but it's not.
But I did find as I was getting into like 5, 6, 7, 800 passengers transported for a single
Yeah.
level, I would just get lost in the mix.
Right, exactly.
Things go over each other. You have stations that pop up really close to each other. I can't
Mhm.
tell which one. Like what's it called when you get to upgrade your station so it holds
The
more people?
interchanges.
Yeah, and like you can't tell which is which, or like you'll try
Yep.
and do something, and the touchscreen interface for placing tracks works wonderfully in the beginning.
Until it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, but then like when you have like 3 tracks that are right next to each other and you
Mhm.
have to pull drag one,
Yep.
that becomes a bit much. There is rumor
Mhm.
that the next series of iPhones coming out in September are going to have Apple Pencil support. And
Ooh.
that would be wonderful for something like this where you would need to get in there and grab something like
Yeah.
from in between 2 other things. But
Yeah.
I think that's something that, because I don't know, did it start as mobile or start as PC? Do you know?
Ooh, I'm not certain. I think it probably started on PC, but
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Because it's something that perhaps that they should have been a little bit more conscientious about with mobile.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's
Yeah.
meant for a tablet and maybe it just happens because like Hearthstone works wonderfully on a tablet.
Yeah.
It works on a phone.
It sure does.
It's a
You can play it.
It's a convoluted mess. Everything's kind of crushed in, but it works. So maybe that's it. It's there as an option, but maybe they just put it out there as like, look, this isn't
Yeah,
the
you
best
might
way
as
to play.
well.
It's not the best way to play this game. Like you can play it, it's time killer, but we recommend you play it elsewhere. Like or play
Yeah.
it, like try it on a larger screen.
Yeah.
So, but no.
I know.
Do we iPhone 10, what is that? Haha spatula. But yeah, so I mean that no, you're right. They're pretty simple games.
Yeah.
I mean I could definitely see myself I mean I'm still going to play Train Valley and I could definitely see talking about or mentioning it again on the show at the very least as more features come to it via early access.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what their plan for a release window is. I typically try and shy away from early access these days because
Yeah,
there's
so
so
do
many
I.
games that are stuck in development hell.
Mhm.
But I think you even mentioned it too. Like, but if it's a sequel, then
Yeah.
if it's a
To a highly rated game.
yeah, I mean the game is highly rated. The early access is very highly rated.
Yep.
If they're just like, look, I mean, it's Train Valley 1, but we want to add more things. Here's a sequel. And again, it's only $10. If you're asking for $40 for your early access game,
Yeah.
jump off a cliff.
We're looking at you, we happy few.
Yeah, is that still in early access?
Still in early access.
It was supposed to be like March, wasn't it?
No.
Or
I
February?
think it's no. I think it's now. It's like September or something. I don't know. I gotta look again. I had such high hopes for that game.
Bastards! I bought it too.
I know.
No, it's I don't know. Early access is becoming one of those things where it's.
I mean, I get it, but there's a line.
But don't make it full price.
Yeah.
don't make it, or I mean, I don't care. Give it, yeah. It's there are ways it can improve. There's I see a lot changing in the gamer space over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really affect indie as much as it does AAA, but like, there's a lot of shit going down as far as loot boxes are concerned.
Mm,
I mean, I don't particularly hate them, but uh, it's fine. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think we've covered what we can cover about the games that we talked
yeah.
about. But
Yeah.
where do you think in the realm of I mean, and I know you're not a huge AAA player. I mean, you play
No.
Overwatch, but
Yeah.
I think your AAA experience, like, you don't play. I just don't think they appeal to you as much. I think you like
Not so much.
yeah. But what do you think as somebody who is looking kind of from the outside in?
Yeah.
So you have DLC, right? So
Yep.
first off, this is my stance here. So first off, video games have been $60 for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, they cost a lot more money to develop. They are
Mhm.
now more like interactive films in many ways than they are pixelated video games. Like, look at God of War, look at Horizon,
Right.
look at Last of Us. They're interactive CGI films.
Right.
So you can't expect the length, in my opinion. You can't expect the length of playtime out of a game in 2018 that you expected in 1998 or 2008, because they are significantly more expensive to make. In 2013, the average salary of a video game developer was $83,000 a year. Most most AAA titles have teams of like 50 or more people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Add that to composers, and these are just, I mean, and that was a Google search, so I don't know what the specifics are, but
Yeah.
add that.
I mean, I was working in video games in 2009, and I assure you, I didn't know anyone making anywhere near that.
Well, that was considered the average. That was a Google
Right.
search in
But
2013.
I'm saying there was not, and I mean, this was Rockstar.
Right. I'm sure that the guys that are making six figures kind of askew that average.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, you've got composers, but even then, like, if you put the guys at 40,000 a year, like, it's still,
Yeah.
I mean, 50 people at 40,000 a year, that's still
Oh,
a
yeah.
decent chunk of change for something you're only paying $60 for.
Right.
So because the price hasn't inflated, you can't expect the same hours of gameplay out of a 2018 game as a 98 or 2008 game, like I said. You can't expect necessarily this, because now you've got voice actors you have to pay. You have animators that you have to pay. There's all these other things. But
Yeah.
people still seem to want that 20, 30, 40-hour game out of the $60. Now, you do get exceptions to that rule, where Skyrim, right? Things like that, or The Witcher. Right. But The Witcher is a small development team, so that's that.
Yeah.
And then Skyrim has been reboxed and repackaged and resold on every fucking platform possible. And you're paying $60 for it everywhere, even though the game is a decade old almost.
Right.
You know, like, if you want to go play the cool Nintendo Switch version of Skyrim, where you get access to like the Link outfit, you're paying $60.
Yeah.
If you want to get Skyrim VR for PlayStation 4 or PC, you're paying $60.
Right.
So you're still paying full price for this game that is almost 10 years old. Or it might have even, I don't think it was 08. I think it was like 2010, 2000, something like that. So it's close to 10 years. So there's that catch. It's a game that will never, it will not be discounted until the sequel comes out.
If then.
If even then. So then they did DLC, right? So you get DLC, and DLC is a thing, and then they do season passes, and season passes are a thing. And I've accepted the fact that these days, if I'm getting the full experience for a game, I'm paying $100. Paying $60 for the game, $40 for the season pass. That gets me the finalized story content. That gets me any extra multiplayer map stuff, map packs for Call of Duty, things like that. Or if it's Destiny, something like that, where it's like that online persistent type game, like you're getting the first 2 expansion packs or something. But you get your season pass. And then people cried and whined and bitched about that. Now, obviously, when it comes to loot boxes, the biggest one was Star Wars,
Right.
which we definitely don't need to get into it too much because there's a point to all this. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So when Battlefront came out, it had a little content, and I mean that it had a little content, and then there was a season pass you could buy. And it was what I just said. It was $100 for the deluxe edition, or you could spend $60 for the game and $40 for the season pass. So $100, right. And that was your complete game. Mm-hmm. Everyone cried and whined and bitched, as gamers do.
Mm-hmm.
So then they said, okay, Battlefront 2, all DLC is free, which is 100% true.
Yes.
And then they put in loot boxes. So, for those people like me who work a full-time job, have a little bit of extra cash on the side, and don't have 100 hours a week to invest into one game, they gave me the option to buy loot boxes where I could access the other things in the game without dumping hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And then, exactly. Spatula, exactly. But there's nothing wrong with that. And then they said, okay, for the rest of you, you earn in-game credits, which you can then use to buy loot boxes. And everyone complained because it took too long to unlock things. So the same people that complained that there wasn't enough content in Battlefield 1 are now complaining that there's too much content in Battlefield 2 because it takes too long to unlock everything. You wanted more gameplay hours. They gave you more gameplay hours. Stop whining. And everything, despite what anybody says, everything in Battlefront 2 was cosmetic. Darth Maul came unlocked. Darth Vader was locked behind a paywall. But Darth Vader wasn't any more powerful than Darth Maul. They were one for one. And, well, no, I'm sorry, Kylo Ren. And Kylo Ren is better than Darth Maul anyway. Or Darth Vader. I'm getting my Darths mixed up. Anyway, so my point being, so gamers are bitching about DLC and season passes. Now they're bitching about loot boxes. Without it just becoming video games are $100 and that's it. Like it's $100 to buy a game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a potential another stop on the tracks to kind of make it somewhat relative to our show? Do you see another potential stop on the tracks between loot boxes being bad and fine, we're just going to charge you $100 for a game and that's your only option? Is there something else there instead of DLC or loot boxes?
I mean, I don't think so. I have a problem with content loot boxes. I do not have a problem with cosmetic loot boxes. And I mean, I worked for Rockstar, which is like king of the DLC.
Yeah. Oh, and it got announced that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to have loot boxes.
Of course. I mean, and I think I think cosmetic loot boxes are a great way for video game companies to defer this increased cost of production. I mean, that's like, take Overwatch. Overwatch will never charge for they will not charge for new characters. They will not charge for new maps. Like, you bought the game, and until Overwatch 2, which will be a brand new game, whenever that happens.
I think they'd be dumb to do that.
I think they would too, but it's Blizzard, so if in 30 years Overwatch 2 comes out, all the content is free. Because that was the thing that used to put me off on Halo, was like, be like, all right, I want to play Halo with my friends. Oh, except I didn't buy this map that they're all playing on, so I guess I'm.
That's why I only play Call of Duty with people who buy the season pass.
Yeah. So, I think that that's a good thing, but I don't have a problem with it. I also don't have a problem. As long as you're getting the value in your initial $60, because I think that's the biggest issue, is that if you're like, I think people won't scoff at paying $60 for their game and then $40 for their DLC season pass if they feel like they're getting their $60.
Right, but what is that value though? See, so for my personal experience, which you really can only speak to personal experiences in this, because it's different for everybody. Everybody has different amounts of money that they can blow or not blow. Everyone has this, that, and the other thing, right? So for me, I look at my hourly rate at work. Like that's what I look at. Okay. So then
Right.
I take that hourly rate and I go, okay, I make X amount of dollars an hour. This particular game is $60.
Yep.
It takes me Y amount of hours to make the money to buy this game.
Sure.
Am I going to get that many hours out of this game? As
Yeah.
long as... Hi, buddy. I'm being interrupted by little man. As long as it takes me less time to earn the money than it does for me to complete my playthrough of that game,
Yeah.
I don't care if the game's only 4 hours long. If it takes me less than 4 hours to earn that money, I've gotten my value out of that game.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. And I don't get it, because people will go to a movie which is 2.5 hours long, and by the time you've bought your IMAX tickets and your large popcorn and your large soda, you've bought a fucking video game.
Yeah.
And it's 2.5 hours. So why do people scoff when a game is 6 hours long? That's $10 an hour. There's very few things that you can do in this world now that cost you $10 an hour. $10 an hour for a form of entertainment is a great.
Well, I mean, I'm not done with Mini Metro. I paid $10 for it. I think I actually bought it on sale, but retail is $10, and I've got 8 hours in it so far. So, I feel like I'm doing all right there.
He's hi.
Oh,
You tired?
no.
Sleepy, buddy. Little man sleepy. Can you wave?
No.
Hi.
Perfect.
All right. It's yeah, I don't know. It's tough. So I guess what?
Nothing. He just crashed on your futon. Anyway, he left.
But so yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, we've got a lot of people in the chat. Like, I'd love some opinions to kind of come out. If people have an opinion, or if you want to chime in, tweet at us at IndieCaseFiles or email us. I believe it's IndieCaseFiles@gmail.com. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, one of the other things that developers are trying, which is actually what they're going to be doing with Final Fantasy VII, is episodic.
Right.
Telltale does it. It
Yep.
works well for them. Square Enix did it with Hitman. Apparently worked out really well. And Square Enix is doing it with Final Fantasy VII. Or at least that's the rumor. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but that's the rumor.
Right.
But even then, so you get your episodic content, but once all the episodes are out, you can pay $60 and buy the game.
Yeah.
Let's see here. If you need to assign a dollar amount to enjoyment ratio, yours works for me. But I don't play a lot of games. Yeah. But I mean, that's how I justify everything, right? Like, so, I mean, that was how I justified smoking for so many years.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, all right. I mean, even when they got up to be like $8.50, $9 a pack, I'd be like, all right, well, it takes me 20 minutes to earn $9. So this pack lasts me all day. So, inherently it's a good value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, but that changes for everybody. Like, I get that I'm on for middle class income, I'm on kind of a high end, and I accept that. And for people who are making minimum wage, $60 can still be a lot of money. And it can be tough. And so yes, while on average 6 to 10 hours of gameplay for $60 might be good, that might be the only game you buy for 6 months.
Right.
So you need something that's going to give you replay value, or something that is not going to cast you out from your friends because you don't have the DLC.
Right.
And there's that argument too. And it may sound a little harsh, but my response is that video games are a luxury. It's what they are. Nobody needs them. They're a luxury. And if you can't afford them, don't buy them. I mean, it sucks, but it's true, right? Like, I'd love a Vive Pro, but I don't have $1,300 laying around. You know, like it's, and that's kind of what it comes down to, is they're a luxury, and the developers need to get paid. Ad revenue needs to get paid. The producers need to, like, it all just comes down to, I mean, it's they're businesses, and the video games are a product.
Mhm.
And kind of like with music, and that's, I think, part of your love for indie games. And it's one thing I'm noticing with indie games is that it's like the music industry and the art of music.
Yeah.
One is to make money, one is to produce art. And I think that's like, you know, I think we're very far removed from calling Call of Duty and Madden art.
I mean, at this point.
Yeah. But whereas something like, you know, Cuphead or Guacamelee, games that we've covered, or even Mini Metro and Train Valley, like, those are games where very small development teams who are passionate about video games, who develop games for low amounts of money compared to AAA titles. Typically, you get great value out of indie titles.
Right.
And they're a lot of fun. And there's not usually a whole lot of DLC with indie titles. And if there is, it's like, I think the last indie game, like truly indie game that I played that had like an actual DLC pack you bought was, fuck, now I'm going to forget the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. God damn it.
I don't think those are games.
No, it was that really fucking hard roguelike. I don't remember the name of it though.
I can't think of what it's called. I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? The one that's really dark and gruesome.
Yeah. I don't remember what
Darkest
it's called,
Dungeon.
There you go.
Yeah, and there was like a $25 DLC, but that $25 DLC added a shit ton of content. So,
Yeah, I have Stellaris that I haven't gotten like DLC to yet. I can't believe I have 17 hours in that game.
Stellaris?
Yeah.
No, we still have to dive into the Civ 6 DLC too. I think we both bought it and didn't play it.
Uh-huh.
But no, I mean it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, obviously you're gonna have your major hitters. Like Call of Duty's not going anywhere. Madden's not going anywhere. All your yearly sports titles aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, because they just reskin them and go.
Yeah, and and that's fine. You know,
right.
I mean, I buy Madden every year.
Yep.
I buy Call of Duty every year. I'm so excited for Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
And Black Ops 4 is apparently now. See, here's where like the fanboyism comes in. I'm so tired of battle royale games.
Yeah.
Supposedly, Black Ops 4 is gonna have a battle royale mode, and I'm super excited.
That's fine, because I went back and forth with Overwatch, and I said, like, people kept asking for a deathmatch. And I was like, deathmatch is stupid. We don't need a deathmatch. It doesn't need a deathmatch. And then they put in deathmatch, and I was like, well, that's fine. I don't need to play it. I freaking love it.
Right. And they need sales. Deathmatch. I mean, even with Search and Destroy, like Call of Duty focused, even with Search and Destroy, I mean, Headquarters is gone now, but whatever. I think it's Hardpoint. And Free for All, like Team Deathmatch is still the most populated lobby.
Yep.
People just want to get in there and shoot people.
Yep.
It's fun. I like Deathmatch, and Deathmatch is good for. It's great to get in there and just let loose when you get stuck with shitty people that don't know what a payload is.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
I mean, it's bad that I haven't touched Overwatch in months.
Yeah.
And I could probably still get on there and play better than half the people that play on there.
That's true.
So I mean, I see whenever I disappear for a while, and then hop back on with like you and JF and Annalisa, I always seem to get play of the game, my first game back.
Well. I got to play the game, my first game in the beta. And that was the best.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, there you go. If you don't have any money but you want to see the game, watch Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do with the games that I'm like interested in, but I know I won't actually want to play.
Right.
I just watch it. Because like you said, they're practically movies.
They are. They are. I mean, God of War was basically a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. I already want the next one. I can't wait to see what happens with his son. I won't spoil it here, but his son is somebody. No, and I've found myself doing that lately. I found myself diving into story-driven games, which I always was against. I hate single-player games. I get really bored playing by myself, but that is something that Twitch has done for me. Like, even if it's just a couple people hanging out in my stream, it allows me to have that socialization while enjoying a single-player game.
Right.
Which is something that I always missed out. Don't let your head get too. Thanks, Annalisa. It's something that I always missed out on because I'd get bored playing by myself, so I'd lose out on like great story-driven games.
Right.
But then I'd get so frustrated with multiplayer. So Twitch is that happy medium where I get my socialization, but I also get my single-player experience.
Yeah.
So it's cool trade-off. You're going to be streaming somewhat soon, right? Is that your plan?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan.
Cool.
Yeah. My plan is to stream the next game. That's my thought.
Do we know what we want to do next?
I mean, I know what I want to do next.
What are you doing next?
I think I'm going to do Rumu. The game about the game in which you are essentially a sentient robot vacuum.
Oh, the Roomba game.
Yeah.
What was that deity game?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I got that one too.
Because that's one. Okay, Spatula says we should check out Slay the Spire. Is it a roguelike? I don't.
Crest?
When did you mention
the one
that?
we bought?
I don't remember the name of it. But what I think would be fun, I want to wait and do the deity game to when you are definitely streaming.
Yeah.
Because what I
think and I want to let other people decide.
Oh, well, yeah, you could do that too. But what I was thinking is we could dual box stream so people can watch us both at the same time. And you and I do not communicate with each other how we are doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to see like how vastly different it becomes depending on how you rule your people.
Yeah, I think, is this the one? Shoot. Yeah, it was the game where you can only, like, you're a god, but you can only talk to your people through like visions and stuff. And you have no control over how they interpret that. Yes, Crest. The indirect god sim.
Okay, so it's Crest. Roguelike tower climb using card decks? I'm so fucking tired of them putting cards and everything. Listen,
card games pay my salary, so.
Yes, real card games. This is like a Street Fighter type game, but all your moves are done by deck. Piss off. Let me look really quick. I will humor Spatula and then we'll tie the. So Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire. $15.99. We fused card games and roguelikes together to make the best single-player deck builder we could.
I don't like either of those game types.
I love roguelikes because I love games that kick my ass, but...
Yeah, I definitely don't.
Craft a unique deck, encounter bizarre creatures, discover relics of immense power, and slay the Spire. I'm Casey Kasem.
And I'm Casey Kasem. I hate deck building. I hate it.
No,
I will play a card game, but deck building.
If it gave me a pre-generated deck and I just had to play what I had, cool. But I can't, dude. I'm too anal for deck building games.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, like, I don't want a secondary deck. I don't want a second best deck. It's why I don't play Hearthstone anymore, because I will buy, like, I would spend the $50-$60, whatever it was, to pre-order the new expansion. I'd get my 50-60 packs. Mm-hmm. I'd open them all up. I'd go on to like hearthpwn.com and net deck everything. And I would be like, well, fuck, I got to spend like another $200 if I want to make a good deck. I'm not going to play.
No.
For a while, I would just play to level 20 every month, that way, or rank 20. That way, I'd get my card back. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm doing this to get card backs I'm never going to use.
Mm-hmm.
I have a collection problem. I am the person that they love to sell loot boxes to because I want everything.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't play Hearthstone anymore because I lose interest halfway through the match and lose.
That's coincidentally why I don't play Magic anymore.
So yeah. Okay, so you're gonna do your vacuum game?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I will take a peek and look, and I will decide. I might do a console game. I have the Xbox Game Pass and I have PlayStation Now,
Mhm.
and there are a bunch of indie games on both of those platforms.
Yeah. Sweet.
So maybe I will do maybe I'll use their value of those and
Yeah.
and
Sounds like a
play one of
plan.
those and do it that way. But do we want to do the sign off?
Yeah, go
Are
ahead.
you
It's all
doing it
you.
or am I? Oh, it's all me. All right.
Yeah.
I don't have a script for this show.
I know.
So this has been Indie Case Files. You can catch Indie Case Files Monday nights, every other Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/InkedGeekStudios, which is also where you can find all of our other shows. And you can find info about all of those shows at InkedGeekStudios.com. We usually talk about supporting the shows or supporting the studio. I'm not going to do that. If you want to do that, then you've listened to more than this one show, and you know how to do that. What I will say is talk to people about the show. If you know people who you think might like this show, then tell them about it and let them listen. Or if you fucking hated this show and there's somebody else that you hate, then sentence them to listening to it, and maybe they'll like it, and then you can piss off. That's my new thing. No, but yeah, just talk about the show. Follow us on Twitter. Communicate with us. If there's any games, thanks, Spatula. Done. If there's any games that you want us to cover, then, let us know. We are doing a new thing. We just started it tonight, and this is our first show in 4 months. I didn't necessarily expect it to happen. But the new thing is going to be for every Twitch live show we do, which is every other Monday, if we get 5 new subs during the episode, which would be pre-show and up to the end of the show, if we get 5 new subs for that episode, we will give away a copy of one of the games that we played.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a cool other way to support us, and then also potentially win something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, again, AintGeekStudios.com for everything else. If you want to follow me on Twitch and check out me playing all the games that I play, plus the upcoming game for Indie Case Files, you go to twitch.tv/xCynicX, which is XSYNEKX. Or you can follow Amy at twitch.tv/Daniora when she gets to streaming. Follow her, turn on notifications, and one day out of the blue, she will surprise you.
Yeah. And me, probably.
And herself. You're like, fuck, I'm live? How'd that happen? And because she won't do it, check out the Overcast, the Overwatch podcast done by Amy Frost and J Dubstep, John Frank Dubstep. JF Dubo. Go check that out. It's a cool show. They talk about Overwatch and, well, Overwatch.
Yeah.
What did you guys cover this week? This is the new map, right?
This week we covered the new map. Rialto.
Rialto.
Which
Cool.
we liked way more than we expected to.
Yeah, you were telling me that it was pretty good.
Yep.
Maybe I'll have to dive back in.
It's a good Reaper map, just saying.
Is it? Yeah. I
Yeah.
have a hard time liking it. It is the weakest link of Blizzard games. And I get that it's a big thing, and like Bob Kraft owns a team, and there's this league, but like for me as a player, it's the weakest link. It's no Diablo. It's no Diablo. It's
You're
no
entitled
WoW.
to your wrong opinion.
No, I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right to me.
All right.
Yeah, and that's what matters. All right, so the Roomba vacuum sucking whatever game for you next time, and then suck your way around the house.
Yikes.
That should be the name of that game.
Yikes.
And I will announce on Twitter what game I'm doing. And again, it's XCynicX everywhere. So maybe I'll check out this goofy fucking card game road like the Spatula. You know what, Spatula? If you sub to the channel, I will play that game.
Boom.
Other than that, that is going to do it. So for Amy, for myself, and for the rest of Inked Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Two, right? 2. All right. 2. You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.